Now, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to move on to our second industrial forum on manufacturing and energy sector, sustainable production and resource management, innovations in manufacturing and energy. So for this next forum, I would like to invite Ms. Jackie Ma, Executive Vice President of the Institute of Corporate Directors Malaysia, to chair this session. And may I also invite the panelists for this segment to be on stage. Dr. Technologist Muta bin Suhaili, Group Chief Executive Officer of Epic Berhad, Mr. Rick Ong, Managing Director of Sexton Renewables, Mr. George Yap, President of Malaysian Timber Association and Managing Director of Wingming, and Ms. Charlotte Wolfby, Vice President and Group Chief Sustainable Officer of Petronas. All right, if you all like to take your seats, I'll hand the floor over to Ms. Jackie.
Thank you. Thank you. I have a very big task here. I have to make sure everyone gets through their points and get you to lunch. So please do bear with us. I think this morning we've heard a lot about financing. We've got a lot of frameworks available for sustainability. But I think one important point that Kevin from the last session made is that innovation is equally as important. So very timely in terms of what we want to cover today on sustainable production and resource management. So I'd just like to give a context setting and then we'll move on to presentations by the speakers. Now at COP29 this year, I think we see a lot of pressure from leaders to deliver progress on finance. But the thing also is getting leaders and companies to re-emphasize their commitment to triple renewables, double energy efficiency, and move away from fossil fuels. So a lot is needed for groundbreaking solutions that can not only tackle climate change, but also create economic value at scale. So whether it's efficient resource use or adaptation to climate impacts, innovation is therefore essential to ensure a successful, resilient transition. So I have 4 esteemed panelists with me today. Maybe we can load up Charlotte's presentation. I understand, Charlotte, you have an important appointment to make. You have a hard stop at 12:45. So maybe you can start your presentation and then we'll have a question with you before you go. Can I just get to do a quick intro of you? So Charlotte Wolfby is an award-winning business leader at the forefront of the sustainability movement. So she serves as the Group Chief Sustainability Officer at Petronas. And since joining in 2021, she has turned the company's net zero carbon emission aspiration into strategy and plans to drive decarbonization and social progress. So over to you, Charlotte.
Well, thank you very much, Jackie, and thank you very much for organizing this fantastic event. Sustainability needs to move to action, and I think the pictures we just saw, clearly there's a lot of action happening, and I'm afraid I have to go and act immediately after my little talk because sustainability can't wait, so sorry about that. A couple of weeks ago, I met a lady called Adriana. I remember this very vividly because she was, sorry. Okay, thank you. So I met this lady called Adriana. I remember her very vividly because she was from the Amazon, not the retailer, no, the Brazil Amazon. And what was so stark, she was explaining how daily life is a struggle because the air quality and the smog, basically it's impossible to carry out your daily duties. The wildfires in the Amazon are so bad that you can't see your hand in front of you. These are the lungs of the world. And this is just one example of the tipping points of climate change. We really reached to a point now where we must act with urgency. And this really sort of touched me because the Amazon, that's not what you think when you think about the Amazon. Now, where does climate change come from? Of course, we know that the biggest source of man-made carbon emissions comes from the global energy system. About 3/4 of man-made emissions come from the energy system. So it's very important that we drive the change within the energy system as well as many other sectors. So I got a couple of slides just to share with you. So climate change and these tipping points that we are seeing and feeling, and all the tens of thousands of volumes of climate research that has been conducted over the last decades, really is driving a change also in the business context and driving the energy transition forward. And of course here you see regulation in many different shapes and forms, but also you see geopolitics driving the energy transition, and we also see results in this space. So last year was the first time that investment in clean energy solutions surpassed investments in more traditional, conventional energy systems. However, energy demand continues to grow, and with that emissions continues to grow. So as we are increasing renewables, it's only feeding the increase in energy demand. Eventually this will stop and it will sort of eat into the energy mix more, but over the last 20 years, fossil fuels has been the main source of energy in the global system and continues to be around 75 to 80%. So as an energy company, what does Petronas do about these things? So the energy transition is very, very real for us. We have one business strategy, and that we call the energy transition strategy. We, as a national oil and gas company, we shoulder broader responsibilities than a sort of a independent oil company. So what are those? Of course, we are here to provide energy security for Malaysia, but we're also here to support industrialization, provision of energy to support the industry, but also to provide revenue for the government. But we want to do so, we want to produce the energy with less emissions. The challenge, of course, we have that in the whole region of Southeast Asia, energy demand continues to grow about 3% every year. If you look at various scenarios, it's anywhere between 40 to 70% energy growth over the next sort of 25 years. So it's very important that we do that, support that growth with less emissions. And that's why also we are investing in new business, cleaner energy solutions. So we have a thriving renewables business. We're also looking at hydrogen interest, biofuels, and so many more areas, also to diversify our income. And to permeate all of this, we have our net zero carbon emission pathway, which is about driving down emissions in our operations as well as support this new energy business. So we have an approach to sustainability that permeates everything we do. And I wanted to mention this because these are not just like things my team does. I have a great team, but these are the top, these are top policies in the company. So that means that we have the internal law in Petronas is delivering net zero, thriving with nature, and fostering a just transition. So I have a whole team in my unit that is basically taking these three policy areas around climate, nature, and social, and embedding those into our work processes. We work in a highly engineered environment. That means that we have a lot of process. You think about an oil platform and how that operates. There's a lot of work processes there and technical procedures. Well, all of those need to be adjusted and considered to make sure that we deliver towards our net zero goal, but also to support biodiversity and nature, and making sure that we put the human at the center. Just on delivering net zero, we have clear targets in this space. So by end of this year, we committed to cap our Malaysia operations emissions to 49.5 million tons CO2. By 2030, we want to reduce our emissions by 25% in absolute terms from the 2019 baseline. We also have clear targets for methane emission abatement because methane is a very potent greenhouse gas. And on nature, we and you would have heard earlier from the previous panel, there's a lot of discussion about nature right now. We just came out from the Convention on Biological Diversity, COP16 in Cali in Colombia. We, as Petronas, as a company, we want to support the biodiversity, the conservation of that here in Malaysia in particular, which is one of the mega diverse countries when it comes to biological diversity, and make sure that they will also be sustained for the future. So as an industrial company, that's absolutely critical for us also. And finally, just transition. As we are investing in new energy systems, and not just in Petronas, but in the country and also globally, how can we make sure that those investments creates not just a sustainable future, but also creates more opportunities for more people? How do we enable green, sustainable growth that benefits everybody? So that was sort of all I wanted to share. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte. Maybe we have time for one question, if I may, before you have to go. You mentioned about just transition, and so maybe highlight a little bit about how Petronas is also helping your supply chain in order to deliver your goals. What is the support that you're currently offering to your vendors within your supply chain?
Thank you. Suppliers, no company is anything without its supply chain. We all live in an ecosystem. No company is an island. And I'm so encouraged by the pictures I just saw. I think there's some very, very good practices in this country. Small and mid-sized businesses, of course, constitute the majority of companies, not just in Malaysia, but also the region and globally. So what do we do as Petronas? We have a supplier support program we launched in August, and this also includes training of our suppliers to adopt ESG practices. Of course, we also have regulation that's come through other bodies across Malaysia. For instance, we have a sustainable reporting framework coming through. And for that, to support that, we've also worked with Bursa Malaysia to have a platform where you can report your indicators, and then there will be financing matching those companies that join this platform. So I know there's been some good pledges, sort of the whole ecosystem. So we got the finance community supporting our suppliers. We help train the suppliers to meet not just the regulatory requirements, but really it's about resilience, and for the industry as a whole, really to embrace the ambitions of Malaysia's government, because Malaysia has committed to the Paris Agreement. It has a very strong national energy transition roadmap, and to service the country and for the country to service the world as it's decarbonizing, we need to make sure that our value chain is fit for purpose and can really support and sustain that.
Thank you, Charlotte. If we can give a round of applause to Charlotte. Thank you for your time. And unfortunately, she has to go, but thank you for spending time with us. Thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Charlotte, for being with us. I'm going to invite Mr. Dirk on stage to make sure we get a token of appreciation to you before you leave as well. All right, let's give Charlotte a warm farewell before she leaves. Thank you, Mr. Dirk, and over to you.
Thank you, Flora. Okay, can we move on maybe to the next presentation by Haji Mukhtar? So whilst his presentation is coming up, maybe let me give a quick intro. Haji Mukhtar bin Suhaili is the Group CEO of Eastern Pacific Industrial Corporation Berhad, in short EPIC. Prior to joining EPIC Berhad, Mukhtar was the CEO of the Malaysian Timber Council and has worked for Shell for almost 15 years. He was also the chairman of the Malaysian Palm Oil Certification Council. And I think today he will share with us EPIC's journey, decarbonization journey, and some thoughts on that. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Jackie. Are you still with us now, or thinking of lunch already? I will share with you our journey towards energy transition, or maybe the better terms that I would like to use is energy addition. EPIC Berhad is an oil and gas and energy company established back in 1981 as a group, and the year I was born, back in 1981. And interestingly, when I joined Shell back in 2006, during the interview, one of the statements they said is that the oil reserve in Malaysia will only available maximum the next 30 to 40 years. 18 years forward, today, when I interview any new engineer to my company, I can still say that the oil and gas reserve will still be available for the next 30 to 40 years. And I'm also the EXCO member for Malaysian Oil, Gas and Energy Services Council, MOXI. Previously, our name was Malaysian Oil and Gas Energy Services Council, Oil and Gas Services Council. But we add the word energy into our name to Malaysian Oil, Gas and Energy Services Council. So actually it's about energy addition, where we have the fossil fuel, as well as now we are talking about renewable energy. So we would like to see how we want to position ourselves as an oil and gas company in this energy transition agenda. So if you see our services there, we have oil and gas supply base. We are the operator for Kemaman supply base, the oldest and the biggest, still the largest supply base in Malaysia. We are also the operator for Kemaman Port. And we have 4 companies, engineering companies for marine engineering and services, as well as engineering and maintenance services. But back in 2016, we decided to have one more company in addition to our 9 subsidiaries called Epic Solar Senam Berhad. So we have our solar farm in Terengganu. Actually, we are one of the pioneers in Malaysia, where we participated in the large-scale solar program, number 1. And we are the first one in Malaysia to achieve commercial operation dates, or COD, back in April 2018. And our solar farm in Terengganu, with the capacity of 18.5 megawatts, used to be the biggest in Malaysia, but now one of the smallest. Because in Terengganu, one of the states with the little bit ahead compared to other states in terms of renewable energy, especially solar. In Merchang, for example, in Marang, now we have 3 companies with the total capacity of solar energy is around 250 megawatts. And Epic Berhad, now we are in collaboration with TNB, we are embarking for another project with around 100 megawatts as well, to ensure that besides as an oil and gas company, we also want to transition ourselves to be a responsible oil and gas company with the addition of renewable energy. So these are our sustainability framework and aspirations. If you can see the top photo, there is a rig, oil rig. And I think it's most of the industry players, we know that the oil and gas activities are still relevant until today. And down there is our solar farm. And that's why we want to be a responsible company with environmental sustenance, positive social impact, as well as sustainable governance. And under the Terengganu state, where we want to be also Sharia compliance in all our activities that we are doing. This is the sustainability framework, where we can see that we have our vision and mission related to sustainability, and with the pillars of ESG. And for example, for environmental sustenance, we want to reduce environmental footprints to bring transition towards a greener future. In terms of social impact, we want to promote high productivity and inclusivity to empower people and communities that we serve. And in terms of sustainability governance, we want to practice good governance and ethical business standards in delivering excellence. So there's a core values that we apply in our company, with all our subsidiaries, to ensure that we can embed all this ESG framework towards sustainability. We also have our governance structure, and this is approved by the board, and you can see that there are various levels of responsibilities and roles that we need to play to ensure that we put sustainability part of our company's agenda. If you see here, because EPIC is a member of Terengganu Inc., we have our sustainability mapping. For example, for environment, there are certain ESG materiality response that we have: energy efficiency, green technology. Now, besides solar energy, that I've talked just now. We're also talking about hydrogen, bioenergy. Our sister companies, we have biomass plant, green mobility. We are working with Gentari to have few EV stations in Terengganu. And recently we met with Petronas Carbon Management Division, talking about how to enhance the CCS, carbon capture and storage, or even CCUS, carbon capture, utilization and storage, CCUS, especially in Terengganu, because we are Terengganu State Link company. and as well as resources and control management. And if you can see about the sustainability target, for example, towards a 35% renewable energy capacity mix by next year. And currently we are at around 34 to 35%, but we want to achieve more than this by 2025. And last slides, just want to share with you all the initiatives that we have related to ESG. In terms of our port, we want to be a green port to achieve green port certification by 2035. One of our main projects now is about green ship recycling facility, which will also be a decommissioning remediation facility, DRF, because currently in Malaysia, decommissioning is one of the new industry, if we can call it, in oil and gas industry, and we are anticipating to participate in that industry as well. And we are, for example, the main one that I would like to highlight, the number of energy consumption that we utilize is only around 30% versus the renewable energy that we produced. And our target is that to bring this renewable energy production up to even more than 50% in the next 2-3 years. Related to social, we have our vendor development program, especially to elevate all the contractors, vendors and suppliers within our community. And related to governance, we adopt Malaysian Code of Corporate Governance, MCCG. And I think my time is up, so I stop there, Jackie. And I'm happy to receive any question later on. Thank you.
Thank you, Haji Mukhtar. I think we will dive a little bit deeper into some of your efforts, whether it's the green shipping facility or the decommissioning. So maybe we just move on to the next speaker, George. George Yap is the president of the Malaysian Timber Association, who passionately advocates the advancement of the timber industry towards a sustainable, environmentally friendly, and most importantly, circular economy. His other hat is as MD of Wingming Group of Companies, who's a leading manufacturer of timber doors and provider of door solutions. So I believe George will be sharing both portfolios and also mention a little bit about EUDR, which has been talked about a lot this morning. Over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Jackie. So today, my sharing, I have two parts. One part is about timber industry. I speak on behalf for Malaysia Timber Association. The second part will be on my company business, consists of some door business, cable drum business, and the palm oil trunk new material business. Now I go to the part one, which is on the timber industry. So Malaysia Timber Association, in short form, we call it MTA. So MTA is an association consists of 9 timber association members in different states, East Malaysia and Peninsula Malaysia, and consists of upstream to downstream. So you can see all 9 timber trade association, major association is all our members. So Malaysia Timber Association, MTA, these are our recent sustainable activity. The first one I would like to share is an ESG framework. So with all the alignments from upstream, downstream, East Malaysia, West Malaysia, and different stakeholders, we have do a lot of so-called engagement, alignment to all the people, and during this period, we get the support and train by control union. So this one take about few days to do the argument, to address the differences. So ultimately, we come out this final draft, our Malaysian Timber Association own ESG framework, which is endorsed and officiated by 25th of March 2024 this year. So with this framework, we have a lot of training for implementation. So these are all the activities in Peninsula, Sabah, and Sarawak. So MTA, Malaysia Timber Association, also improve the alignment and relationship with NGO, because last time NGO is perceived as a so-called opposition to the timber industry. For us, we find that actually we are aligned. We have to be aligned and we have to improve. So after the several meetings, so this is how we come into a collaboration between the NGO, consists of WWF Malaysia and also Malaysia Nature Society. So this is the first time Malaysia Timber Association or Malaysia Timber Industry collaborate with the NGO of Malaysia, and we do a public declaration or press declaration in a very special day, which is on the 21st of March this year, International Day of Forest. So this one, we have several press in The Age, Avani, and so on. So these are the key collaboration with WWF and Malaysian Nature Society. So first, we say we want to promote sustainable forest management together. So we say we want to share and centralize mapping of forest resources. We want to identify those important wildlife corridor and protect it together. And we promote ITP, industrial tree plantation, with a proper method. We improve transparency, traceability, and sustainability of the whole supply chain. And we also, this is very important, we want to work together how to promote reforestation on the degraded land. And particularly for our partners, the NGO, Malaysian Nature Society, they have one project called RUGS, means Rantaian Urban Green Space, means they're having the concept of link up the urban area together with some green activities or plantation or gardens. So Malaysia timber industry are fully support on this. So other than this one, we have more to discuss in the ongoing basis. So Malaysia Timber Association, we also look into this EUDR compliance. We want to review, we want to understand what is our situation, and we want to prepare for this compliance. So this is how we come into several engagement. So Malaysia Timber Association, at our own expense, also travel together with Timber and Forestry Government Agency and subject expert 3 times to Brussels to learn and share with EUDR officer, the stakeholder, the parliament, senior management people. So we have some understanding about all these things. And then after that, we sort of want to learn more about that. We reach out to other country. Other than Malaysia, this is what we know, the producing country. We reach out to other country to see how to learn to address and comply to this EUDR. So the country that we have reached out is Bolivia, Brazil, Ecuador, Ghana, Indonesia, Paraguay, Peru, and Nigeria. And from our feedback, we found out that Malaysia timber industry, we are having slightly better understanding and slightly better preparation with that. So under the so-called conference amongst 9 producing countries, so the idea comes in is create a coalition. The coalition on sustainable timber particularly address the issue for this EUDR. So because of our Malaysia side have slightly better understanding, so currently we have been entrusted to take the chairmanship to take care for this EUDR understanding. So we have this mission together to advocate for a sound and proportionate implementation of EUDR while actively supporting compliant effort. So the bottom you can see this is our coalition website. Then after that, we have learned all these things. We also share not only amongst the so-called association, we even though reach out to all the industry member, means company, means management, operation people. And not only within Malaysia, but also we share to our 9 countries members in the coalition. So I have shared the Malaysia timber industry side. So now I go into my company, Wingming Groups. So Wingming Groups, we have 3 major business, 2 traditional and one new business. The traditional business is cable reel, or some people call it cable drum, for cable and wire industry. You can see the routing made in wood and also in steel. Then the second one is timber door business, all types of door, fire resistant door, acoustic door, room door, decorative door. So our brand in the market, we call it Sand Door. And the latest new up and coming new business is oil palm trunk. Short commercial, we call it OPT. It's a new material that we would like to introduce to our market. So our effort in terms of sustainability here is we have reached out to government agency like FRIM to create a green door criteria document. Green door criteria document as a document to learn and compile all the green criteria so that this document can be used for future any standard creation for green door. So during the iGEM, we got the appreciation letter from minister side. So together for this creation, we have other door manufacturer and also the agency. So this is a waste to wealth. So waste to wealth, which is the LC plus, just how I mentioned, the oil palm trunk material. LC plus means life cycle extension. So LC plus is our brand. So it's from the log, from the oil palm, after 25 years, reharvesting, then we turn into the new material. So this oil palm trunk, we branded LC plus, we turn the waste into the fire door application. So this is a recent test that we have last few months. And we even though come with a door using this material, we do a buyback program. Means at the end of the day, people want to dispose the door, we buy back 100 ringgit delivered to factory. Then oil palm trunk, which is LC plus, turn OPT waste to cable reel. You can see traditional reel is a big one, forest timber. Now we use this OPT, no nail. To furniture, we do this furniture recently. Then we have engaged with KPKT. YB Ngakoming also said this is a good idea. He would like to introduce this to the Mampu Milik affordable home. So we have not go into detail, but he said in order to remind him, he want me to make a counter table, put it in his ministry reception. Okay. So this is the final one. When we can do across the industry, these are the new creation that we create. So the oil palm trunk waste turn into the fashion. This is the shoes, fashion shoes. Some picture to show. Yep. That's about my sharing. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Josh. You really make sure that everything is not wasted at all. Yeah? It goes to fashion. Okay, our last speaker for the day, for the morning, is Rick Ong, who is founder and managing director of Saxon Renewables. He leads a prominent environmental attribute commodities trading organization specializing in RECs and carbon credits. His company also provides strategic sustainability consultancy, guiding organizations towards achieving 100% renewable energy and carbon neutrality. So Rick, maybe share with us some of the developments in RECs and carbon credits. Thank you.
Thank you, Jackie. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So my name is Rick, Managing Director of Saxon Renewables. So I mean, in the reasons, we have always heard about RE100 or RECs or renewable energy certificates. Everyone's talking about that, but we found that the markets, a lot of people don't actually know that what it is for. And today we are more focused on how we actually helps the corporates and the SME to achieve their 100% renewable energy targets, and also why do they set this kind of ambitious targets. So a quick introduction of Saxon Renewables, our HQ in Singapore. I'm from Penang. We have an office in Singapore, Vietnam, and Malaysia. Our mission is to accelerate transition to a sustainable future, reducing carbon emissions, and mitigating the impact of climate change. Our core business, our bread and butter is RECs business, renewable energy certificates. We provide more than multi-million of RECs every year across the Southeast Asia to the corporates. We are helping the renewable energies projects owners to generate additional profits by selling the RECs to the corporates. Okay, so before we go into these RE100 terms, hello. So we're facing every day we're facing different kind of clients from the corporates who already set the very clear targets. For example, they want to achieve 100% renewable energy by 2050, 2040, and some of the corporates, they are already want to achieve 100% renewable energy a few years ago, up to the smaller SME in Malaysia that they are just getting pressure by the supply chains that they need to start to measure their carbon accountings, and they start to must have some certain of the renewable energy targets, as a requirements from the supply chains. So from this slide, you can see that most of our clients, we have seen that they're facing different drivers, or sometimes we see they're facing different kind of pressure. So for example, the regulatory pressure, Bursa mandatory listed company to start to have the sustainability reportings. In some countries, they have the emission trading scheme. In Singapore, we have already the carbon tax imposed. In Malaysia, just announced that, they are going to have a carbon tax started 2026. And we also have some social pressure out there that some public started to boycott these kind of non-sustainable products. And come to the market pressures, of course, the market demands, your clients, is the ones that we always see in the markets, that the large corp have this kind of requirements to their supply chains. Then also just now, from the few fellows panels, we also understand that the credit rating agency, for example, from the FI, they also request that you show your carbon your carbon's data so that they can assess whether that they can give you a better interest rate or not for the sustainable financings. Right. So when we talk about RE100s, we give consultations to our corporate clients or the SMBs on how they actually do to achieve 100% renewable energy. So on this slide is a very common carbon management hierarchies that we should avoid first. All the avoid meanings that, for example, you are in the rooms that when you are no need to use the air conditioner, why not just switch it off? Then reduce. How can we reduce it? Maybe you can change your air conditioner to the inverter one, or to change with the higher efficiencies air conditioners or the chillers. After you have done all this, you can actually replace. So replace that, you replace a portion of your fossil fuel electricity to the solar systems that you install on top of your rooftop. So you install solar on top of your rooftop, you start to have savings, and also you can replace a portion of your fossil fuel electricity to renewable energy electricity. And come to the end, we go to offsets. So offsets, for example, you acquire renewable energy certificates, we sign through the unbundles RECs program, or you use the bundles programs that we will share later on. So ultimately, corporates, they are not acquire RECs. In fact, that they want renewable energy. RECs is just one of the tools for them to achieve the renewable energy targets. So from here, you can see that why everyone talking about 100% renewable energy. According to the graph, the electricity is the world's highest carbon emissions globally. So mainly come from the fossil fuels electricity. That's why, how can we mitigate or reduce this part, which is the electricity part, is we need more renewable energy. Whether it's solar, whether it's wind, biogas, biomass, more hydro, large hydro, or in other countries we have geothermals, we need more renewable energies. So one of the key initiatives, the most prominent initiative, RE100s, Globally, we have more than 400 plus of members already registered as RE100 members. They must set up the targets, and also they have a very stringent criteria for them to acquire renewable energy. So some examples like Apple committed to using 100% renewable energies by 2030, Google's 2017, Microsoft 2025, Facebook 2020, Unilever's 2030s. Yeah, I think we are running out of time. I have to speed up. Okay, so SBTi also encourage corporates to set up the renewable energy targets. So up to now, we have more than 9,000 of corporates worldwide to have committed to SBTi. So when we talk a bit on the environmental commodities. First is RECs, and secondly is the carbon credits. So RECs, 1,000 kilowatt hours is equal to 1 RECs, and it can help you to offset your scope 2 market-based carbon emissions, and also can help you to achieve your renewable energy targets. So the secondly is the carbon credits, which just now fellows panels also talking about that. So what is RECs? So RECs is actually a mechanisms, a tools for you to claim that you are using for the renewable energies. For example, there's a fossil fuel out there, the fossil fuel energy generator out there, and there's a renewable energy generator out there. So other than you sell the physical electricity from the renewable energy, you can also register the projects under the recognized registries such as like IREC or TIGLS, and you issue the RECs out, meaning that if let's say you own a solar system on top of your roof, if let's say you don't have a renewable energy target, you can register the projects and issue the RECs out, and you can generate additional profit by selling to the corporates who have that kind of demand in order for them to achieve their renewable energy targets. So every country have a very different kind of ways and challenges for them to acquire 100% renewable energy. For example, in Singapore, 1 RECs is like around $100. In Malaysia, it's only like few dollars. So every country have very different challenges. And in Malaysia, they have a few ways for you to achieve 100% renewable energy. So the first one, of course, we encourage our clients to install on-site solar system first. Then after you install the on-site solar system, there are a few ways for you to acquire renewable energy. You can through a VPPA models, like for example, in Malaysia, we have a CGPP, we have a GET, we have a CRES. All these are the government program to help the corporates to have the channel to help them to source renewable energies. Those Microsoft or Google's, when they come to your countries, if you don't have the source for me to acquire renewable energy, it will help, make them, affects their renewable energy target, and they will leave your countries. So that's how corporates that can drive changes in the government policies, and ultimately, in the end, is the unbundled RECs. So carbon credits, we also develop our own carbon credits projects. For example, that we are now registering 1 project under Vera that we can help the EV chargers, the CPO, to generate carbon credits. You can sell it as additional profits for you to develop more EV chargers. And also we have some pipeline to capture the methane gas from the landfill, from the animal manures to generate carbon credits. So there are a lot of the methodologies to help you to generate carbon credits. So we are more focusing to develop and invest in the technology base of carbon credits, especially in Malaysia and Indonesia. So I end with our favorite mottos: the greatest threat to our planet is to believe that someone else will save it. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Rick. We're mindful of time. I think we're standing in between you and lunch. So just to close, I will invite every panelist to maybe give a line or two. Maybe Rick, whilst you're at it, what's your aspiration for RECs and carbon credit in the next 5 years? Just in a line or two, please.
To make this kind of climate changes, it needs everyone. Right, so for the SMEs, start to do your carbon accountings. It's whether you start to do now, whether you start to do it now and let you to have a competitive edge in your business. Otherwise, you will still have to do it later after you lose your business. So to the renewable energy targets, that is one of the very important priority now to everyone.
Thank you. And George, on circular economy, probably any aspirations, how it will develop in the next few years?
As for the circular economy, I will continue and also motivate everyone to do a baby step. So one step at a time. So definitely things will be better. Thank you.
You did mention about cross-industry as well.
The cross-industry, of course, is something that I have learned. As long as if we just work within our industry, the creativity is limited. If we walk across the industry, the creativity is beyond what we can imagine. Thank you.
Thank you. And Haji Mukhtar, on the energy sector.
I think the key is that we need to have integration of ESG principles into investment strategies and decision making. For example, for Kemaman supply base, we have 45 warehouses. And now we embark into installing rooftop solar for most of the warehouses. And for new warehouses that we're going to build, it must be with rooftop solar and with what I call this natural ventilation. So all this about green warehouses and so on. So this for example. Another project, for example, the green ship recycling facility. We will comply with the Hong Kong Convention to ensure that it's comply with the green requirements and so on. So I think, I repeat myself, oil and gas industry is here to stay, but we also need to adapt and also to embed all the renewable energy into our businesses. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So I think efficiency and innovation is probably the messaging that we get from today. Thank you very much for your attention and thank you for your patience. A big round of applause for the speakers today. Thank you, and I hand it over to Flora.
Thank you so much, Ms. Jackie, for an excellent job facilitating this insightful conversation. I'd like to invite the panelists to remain on stage, and I would like to invite Mr. Marco Winters, accompanied by Mr. Dirk Tierschert, and Mr. Supun Nigamuni up on stage to present our panelists and moderators with a token of appreciation. I'd also like to point out that, a couple of our supporters are here on stage, EPIC for supporting this event, and Saxon Renewables who are helping us keep this event carbon neutral. So once again, thank you so much, EPIC and Saxon, for being a part of this meaningful day. All right, one final group picture. All right, thank you so much, gentlemen and Ms. Jackie, for such an insightful session.